humid. It's fucking no fights this weekend. So we are talking about last weekend, 257, and February for MMA, Jake Paul, Ben Askren. Three things to talk about today. Let's get into it. Dustin Poirier beat Conor McGregor by TKO, his first time being finished. That was not by submission. Conor McGregor has 5 losses now, 4 by submission, 1 by TKO. So Dustin Poirier ranking himself up a little bit in the division. Michael Chandler coming out with a big UFC debut. Knockout over Dan Hooker. I think that was first round. Big overhand right. Not as impressed as a lot of other people have seen about that knockout, but we'll talk about that in a second. Khabib saying that he doesn't think he's going to come back. So when I bring this up, this lightweight tournament that I think I'm going to talk about here, I'm going to leave Khabib out. If Khabib's in, I would drop Dan Hooker. If Khabib's out, I would let Dan Hooker in. So you got your rankings right now with Khabib champion, Dustin Poirier 1, Gaethje 2, Oliveira 3, Chandler 4, Ferguson 5, McGregor 6, RDA 7, Dan Hooker 8, Paul Feldner 9. So if Khabib is not there, then I say the fights should be McGregor Diaz, because everybody wants to see a third fight. Tony Ferguson versus Paul Feldner, Dan Hooker versus RDA, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, and then Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. It should start. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Greg. I think Jake is going to kind of beat up Askren, which is we're going to talk about that a little later. But I don't like that. I don't like that they chose Ben Askren as the MMA representative to fight Jake Paul. I think that was kind of silly. You know, when it's a constant battle between boxing versus MMA. You want MMA to win those battles every single time. And by putting Ben Askren in a boxing fight or a boxing match, boxing ring, whatever the fuck you want to call it, not a good representation of MMA boxing. But that's a little later. I was going to say about this tournament, what's a really good idea, Dana White's never done tournaments since he bought the company, other than the Ultimate Fighter, would be Poirier would fight Charles Oliveira for the title, and then every other fight that they fought would be for the title, just like Bellator does it. What happened to Jake versus Bisping? Bisping has no good eye, so no commission. You know, he snuck by a couple of commissions back in the day where he kind of just faked it like he didn't have the glass eye, but now he's come out in the podcast. He's admitted that he's got a glass eye. No commission's gonna, let him fight. I mean, maybe if they go to like fucking Japan or fucking somewhere like that, but no American commission, Abu Dhabi commission probably wouldn't let him. Just not safe, man. It's not. If anybody would have found that out, that he had that glass eye, he wouldn't have been fighting the UFC. So Bisping will never fight again, ever, unless it's like a celebrity, like what headgear, or God forbid he goes and does something in Japan. I think that would be silly as fuck, but there's a possibility of it. Here comes Dawn, I think. Yeah, Stone Interiors. Come give your opinion, Dalton. Who wins the lightweight tournament? Do you think Conor done being a top 5 guy? I mean, possibly. Maybe not, but possibly. I don't think he could beat a lot of those guys in the top 5. If that was a tournament right there, all those people fighting, who wins?
That's Nick?
Nate versus McGregor. Feldner versus Tony Ferguson. Hooker versus Rafael dos Anjos.
McGregor done lost him. Oh.
Yeah, Nate Diaz hasn't fought in how long? I don't think I just went over the top 9. I don't think McGregor beats. Yeah, Poirier.
That's the black dude, right?
No, that's the guy that just beat McGregor on Saturday.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm thinking of
McGregor doesn't beat Khabib. He doesn't beat Poirier, obviously. Yeah, his leg is all chopped up, man. It's hard to stay on your feet when you only got one leg to stand on, and you're worried about leg kicks, and then Poirier's killing you with your boxing. You can't keep your hands up. You can't be mobile. You can't try to avoid the punches using footwork. He was kind of just a sitting duck for that last 2 minutes. I'll show you the video later, but last couple minutes of the fight, he was just kind of just sitting there, just open to getting beat up. I wouldn't say it was the worst version. I just think it was and I've had a couple of different people tell me that they think it's the worst version of Conor, and that's not impressive for Dustin. I mean, that's probably the best fight we've ever seen Dustin have.
Over 2 years since he fought.
Yeah, that's the best fight we've ever seen Dustin have. Was against Conor. Just a great game plan, great execution of his game plan. Couldn't ask for a better fight. He looks skinny as fuck. His first fight back in 155 in how long?
And he lost his last fight.
Yeah, he did. He did. How's that 70 though? If this would be him coming back to 155.
RDA?
Rafael dos Anjos, yeah. I don't know. If that went down the way that we just said, let's just say Poirier and Oliveira get the bye. So it'd be Chandler Gaethje. I got Gaethje, Hooker, RDA, probably Hooker. So Gaethje beats Hooker. And then Ferguson probably beats Feldner. I think at this point right now, Diaz probably beats McGregor. So then,
That is McGregor?
Yeah, Diaz versus Ferguson's a hard fight. Like I said, Gaethje beats Hooker. I don't know where I guess I put too many fights there because I don't know where the championship fight comes into play.
I'm kind of still straight though. He lost 5 fights now.
Yeah, all 4 by submission. That was his first TKO loss. Conor Sardier is decent, but I don't think that, Conor McGregor, although he's losing, he probably doesn't have the pick of the litter like he normally does. I still don't think he's going to settle for a name like RDA when he could have the third fight with Nate, or he could fight fucking Paul Feldner would be a more exciting fight than RDA. There's a bunch of other options there that don't involve him getting wrestled to death, and I think that's what's going to happen with RDA. So I think he chooses a striking, friendly fight for his next fight. So I'm going Diaz. I think Diaz, or either Diaz or Felder, probably. I think Felder would probably use his grappling too against him. You what? That's the whole fight. That's just the highlights.
47 seconds on highlights.
He rocked him a couple times. Yeah, Conor versus Nate 3 would be ideal. Best situation would be against the Diaz fight, the third one. Still makes a shit ton of money. Win or loss, kind of, loss, it probably kind of fucks his whole career up for a good bit, but win gets him right back into the hype train, February 6th, Super Bowl weekend. I think the first time they're going back to Super Bowl weekend in a very long time. Overeem versus Volkov. 13th is 258, Usman versus Burns. 20th, Blades versus Lewis. And then 27th, Dom Reyes versus Jiri Prochazka. All those being in Vegas. March hasn't been announced if they're going back to Abu Dhabi, if they're staying in Vegas.
Who's got on Blades versus Lewis? Blades?
Yeah. Yeah. Wrestling, dude.
He looked raw.
Just wrestling, dude. Derek Lewis can't stop that wrestling. He's a big guy, but he doesn't got
How
the
you say that guy's name?
Jiri Prochazka, I think. I don't know.
I'm a Reyes.
Try Prochazka. Just more unique style of fighting. I'll look into it more when it gets close.
27 and 3, 12 and 2. Both same height, same weight, same reach.
Yeah, Reyes came from more of like a football, but he was a free safety in college. So he came from like a football. He's more of like an athletic guy than he is. The other guy is a really technical striker, and he's got a very unique style of fighting.
Number 3,
Yeah, light heavyweight, yeah. And the final topic, Jake Paul, Ben Askren. What do you think about that? You were asking me about Jake Paul and McGregor, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, he's fighting Ben Askren.
Oh, he is? Sure.
They announced it, yeah.
The day after, they had crazy things telling everybody that Jake Paul was going to fight because he lost now.
He's fighting Ben Askren. That's horrible for the MMA community because he would have fought Conor, he would have lost. He would have fought Diaz, he would have lost. He would have fought Masvidal, he would have lost. He would have fought mad MMA fighters, he would have lost. Ben Askren, he's got a really, really good chance of beating. It's bad because it's a YouTube star. It's not an actual pro boxer. So it's going to look bad for MMA fighters that try to transition to boxing. And it's not a good look. I wouldn't have chose Ben Askren. He would have been probably one of my last choices to fight Jake Paul. But it's going to happen. Hopefully he gets a lot of good boxing training in. A lot of people come together. Works with Fellner a good bit. Maybe he'll surprise us. I don't think so though. Fucking, he fought 170. Kid's like a 205 or some shit. Jake Paul. He's a lot bigger, punches a lot harder, and he's been boxing. Ben Askren doesn't box. He's a wrestler. It's not a strong suit, so it's not good. It's not good for MMA. Yo, you got any? You got like a closing saying? I always struggle with closing sayings, like "See you next time, folks." You know what I mean? What do you think of and say it? You're looking it up. Next Tuesday, we'll be back to predict Overeem Volkov, that whole card, which I don't think has a co-main event yet. So hopefully they announce something because I don't know for a fact. Maybe I'm thinking of the third card, but I think the second best card, in my opinion, would be Michael Johnson and Clay Guida.
Thank you for your assistance in this matter.
That's going to be
March 6th. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what we're showing.
why.
Adesanya. That's my
That's nice fighting Blachowicz, yeah. March 6th in Vegas?
Yeah.
They didn't announce that yet, though.
It's on the UFC website.
Oh, word. So they did announce March 6th already. It's going to be in Vegas. Yeah, Michael Johnson, Clay Guida, Benil Dariush, Diego Ferreira, maybe. Corey Sandhagen, Frankie Edgar. So like a couple of options for a co-main event. Maybe I was wrong. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
You got Overeem?
Oh, it's done. Huh?
You got Overeem?
Nah. Alexander Volkov, yeah. He's a lot better of a counter striker, technical striker.
Overeem looks like a model.
Overeem's a good kickboxer. He was a pro kickboxer for a long time.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
From Marlon?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it looks like him, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Come on, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for your services, or whatever he told me to say. We'll be back Tuesday.
Appreciate your time.